Welcome back. So, we're about to learn the C programming language, and you might think that this is some language a computer understands, right? Well, that's actually wrong. A computer does not understand the C language. Now, what does a computer understand then? Actually, it only understands machine language, which consists of patterns of zeros and ones. These patterns represent instructions for your CPU or central processing unit, sometimes also just called a processor. And this is the part of any computer that does the actual work, so to say. This work consists of computations. So you could say that the CPU is the reason for why a computer is called a computer. Okay, let's go back to the machine language. Unfortunately, this language has two major downsides. The first one is that the patterns of zeros and ones vary from one CPU type to another. So, if we wanted to write software that runs on multiple types of CPUs, we would actually have to write a custom-made program for each of the CPU types we want to target. And it gets even worse if we take operating systems into consideration. If I take this laptop here and install two operating systems, these two operating systems will need different programs written in machine language to do the same thing. Actually, I have two operating systems on this very laptop. And I have written a small program for it on Linux. A program that just says, "Hi." And if I try to run the very same program on Windows, I get a different message. So it doesn't work. Now, we could try to read the contents of the Linux program to see what is so complicated that Windows would not understand it. The content of the program actually looks like this. And here we already see the second huge problem with the machine language. Who on earth is going to write this? Writing programs in machine language effectively boils down to typing zeros and ones all the time. And this can get tedious quite quickly. To fix the situation, people invented so-called high-level programming languages. One of them being the C programming language. In these languages, we as a programmer are much less concerned with how a CPU is performing its calculations. This allows us to think more in terms of what we want to achieve. Here is the same program you saw earlier, but now written in C. That is a lot nicer than machine language, right? So, why did I even mention the machine language then? Because this is what our code written in C must be translated to. Only then will the computer be able to understand it. And don't worry, we will be translating C code to machine code without ever looking at these zeros and ones again. In the next video, I will show you how. See ya.